Some people think I'm crazy, and other people know exactly where I'm coming from. Hey, this is Linda G. Robert. You're back in the groove again, coach, helping you live your best life now so you can love what you do. And, if you've been following along, you know that I've been going through a lot of different changes. Sold my house in November, now in Mazatlan for a few months until the end of April, and I'll be going back to Canada. Part of the thing that's been so challenging is, what do I do when I get back to Canada? Do I buy a house? Do I rent? Oh my God. All of this stuff sometimes keeps me up at night because they are huge decisions. So here's what's happening now. Now I've been thinking of what it is that I really want, not what I don't want, what it is that I want. I want to be able to come and go as I please. I want to be able to, pay a decent rent and not feel strapped. I want to be able to, see my family, see my kids, see my friends. I want to be able to have fun. And I want to be able to, enjoy my life. And when I look at that, all the things that I want, not what I don't want, it's easy to say, sure, you know what, I can have all of that here where I am in Mexico. And I can go to Canada when I want to. I could stay in Canada for a few months and just come back here. And that would allow me to have what I want. But the old way of thinking, my old way of thinking is, what is it that I don't want? Or but you've always done things this way, right? You've always done things this way. You've always lived in Canada. You've always had a house. Well, as an adult, I've owned a house. I've always been in debt. I've always been there for my kids and my friends. So do I need to do what I've always done? The answer is no. I don't need to do what I've always done. I don't need to go back to being in debt. Buying a house would mean buying a house. Let me rephrase that. Buying a house in Canada, in Ontario, close to where my kids live, would mean going back in debt. It would mean that I would, have to have a mortgage, of course, start paying utilities again, like natural gas and hydro and water, property taxes. I know that that way of thinking is what I've always done, and that's what I'm familiar with. I'm familiar with that lifestyle, and I'm familiar with that notion of having to pay my bills. And now I know, especially over the last few years, that I need to have a rental unit. I need to rent a couple of rooms. So is that what I want? Do I want to live like that again? Do I want to feel strapped? No, I don't want that. What I want is to have a home base. I want to know that if I travel, I can come back to one place. And then from this place, I can go back, travel for another few months. And it's where the home base can be. Where does the home base need to be? Right? So if you're like me, you're single, you're in your 60s, you might be at a place where you have to make these types of decisions. And for some people, it's easy for them to decide. It's like, yeah, like I don't want to ever own a house again. And so it's easy for them to say, I just want to rent, or I'm going to move to where it's affordable, like in Mexico or Ecuador or another place abroad, and it's a lot easier. But for other people, for whatever reason, it's more challenging. And I'll tell you a little bit about what I'm kind of going through. Some of it is feeling like I'm abandoning my kids, which I'm not. My kids are adults. They'll be all right. But that sensation of abandonment comes up. And I think that's part of my old issues. The feeling of having to do things like I've always done them. That sensation of, yeah, but you've never done it like that before. You've always lived in Canada. That comes up. And I'm having to shift my way of thinking, or I want to shift my way of thinking so that I don't have to live or have to think the same way like I've always done. And that's that openness. So if you are having to be open to thinking in a different way, that's when you work with a coach, right? That's when you work with people like me, because we'll challenge you to think completely different, to think of what would happen if, or what could possibly be your ideal lifestyle. For me, I know that I want to be able to, like I said, come and go as I please, go to restaurants if I want to, pay an affordable rent, not feel strapped, right? I want to be able to travel without having to worry about saving money and without having to worry about not being able to afford it. You know, at this stage of the game, at my age now, I want to live and enjoy my life as much as possible. I know I have many years to go, but I want to, and let me rephrase that instead of the but, and I want to enjoy those years. I want to enjoy them for me, and I also want to enjoy them with friends and with family. So it doesn't mean that my home base has to be where my family is. My home base can be where I can live, where it's affordable, and where I'd still be able to visit with my family a few times a year. And I was thinking the other day that I'm kind of missing a bit of winter. I know some of you will say that's kind of strange. It's not that strange. There are parts of winter that I do miss. I enjoy snowshoeing and I enjoy cross-country skiing, but I don't need to be there for 5, 6 months. Like I don't have to be in winter for 4 or 5 months. I can actually maybe go to Canada for a few weeks, a month or so, and enjoy cross-country skiing and enjoy, snowshoeing and then come back. So this way of thinking, this shifting, my mindset shifting is what I'm kind of going through right now. And have I made any type of decisions? Not really. All I can tell you is that I had an appointment booked with a broker yesterday, and I decided to cancel it. And I told you on another video that I had an appointment booked with a real estate guy, but that coincidentally didn't pan out because he was sick, so he canceled. So on that other video, I said, well, maybe these are just, what's intended. Absolutely. Just know that whatever you might be processing right now is exactly what you need to do. And if you have like some kind of sensation that tells you, ew, then maybe that's not the right necessarily thing to do. And I'll give you a specific example. This was last week. I woke up thinking that I would be in debt again. And I woke up thinking of all the bills that I would have to pay if I owned and when I owned a house. And I was trying to think of how I could do that. It would have to be the perfect house. It would have to be a house that I'm able to have a rental and all of these conditions to make that happen. When do we need to do that? Right? That's the question here. A lot of people, and you'll find a lot of people on YouTube, have actually made that transition. And a lot of them are couples They're couples. And for some reason, it's a lot easier to make those types of decisions when you're with somebody. I'm not. I'm not. So if you're listening to me and you're going, yeah, you know what? I hear you. And you'll also know then that making that type of decision is not easy. It's freaking hard. I've made a tough decision to sell my house. I made that decision. It's done, right? And you might have watched those videos. That's done. And now I have kind of like I have money in the bank, money invested, and I'm thinking, do I want to use up a huge chunk of that for down payment? Yeah, tough decisions. I could see maybe, maybe using part of that. Uh, does it have to be in Canada? No, like, these are things that I'm thinking of. I can buy a house, but does it have to be in Canada? Or maybe do I even have to buy a house? Because to be honest, like I'm paying right now 8,500 pesos, 8,500 pesos, which ends up by being about a little over 500 something Canadian, and I think it's about 400 and something US a month. And yeah, I have to pay the lighting and cable, but it's really not that expensive. And I can go to the restaurant as often as I want. And, I'm going to be going to Oaxaca in another few weeks from now. So there's a lot of opportunities if I want to allow myself to think that way. I can explore so many things here at a much more affordable price and still visit my family when I want to. So anyways, that's kind of where I'm at right now. You're going to think, oh man, you still haven't decided? No, I can't decide. It's hard. I think I'm near the decision fact, but not exactly yet there. We'll have to see because I am flying back to Canada on April 29th. I'll be staying with a friend at that point for a few months, and who knows right after that. Today, my decision is I'm not ready to buy a house. So stay tuned. This is Linda G. Robert, your Back in the Groove Again coach, helping you live your best life right now so you can love what you do. And if you want to have a conversation about some type of decision or something that you're going through, shoot me an email, backinthegrooveagain@gmail.com. I'm your coach. I'm here to help you live your best life now. Bye now. Take care.